This is your news source evening bulletin for today, Monday, the 12th day of October in the year 2020. I'm Gordon Mosley. Here's what we're tracking tonight. Chief Election Officer Keith Lowenfield was arrested and charged today on allegations of forgery and misconduct in public office. The new charges were filed by the Guyana Police Force as it continues its probe into allegations of fraud at the 2020 elections. Mr. Lowenfield appeared in court this afternoon and was slapped with 3 charges of misconduct in public office and 3 charges of forgery. He's already before the courts on private criminal charges that were filed against him by PP Civic member Charles Ramson Jr. In court today, as he faced the new charges, the prosecutor objected to bail, but that objection was shut down by the magistrate who granted bail in the sum of $300,000 for all of the charges. Mr. Lowenfield is being represented by attorney Nigel Hughes. The attorney said it appears as though the charges being filed against the Chief Election Officer and his deputy are to be used as a way of removing them from the Elections Commission.
The intention is perhaps to have Mr. Lowenfield and the deputy removed from their substantive positions. And so by the filing of charges, there will be a basis upon which I assume the Elections Commission will consider, I'm assuming, an application for them to be either suspended from office or not acting. But like I said, that would be based on what appears to be the trend going forward.
Just last week, Deputy Chief Election Officer Roxanne Myers was charged for misconduct in public office and granted bail. She was charged after being held in police custody for 72 hours. A number of other senior and junior GCOM officials have also faced the courts on various charges related to allegations of fraud at the 2020 elections. All of the charges were triggered by private criminal charges which were first filed by representatives of the PPP and in one case the New Movement Party. Mr. Lowenfield will return to court on the 23rd of October for the continuation of this latest case. More news coming up in just a moment. Mobile Special and all other mobile lubricants are distributed by Sol Guyana Inc. Mobile Special and all other mobile lubricants are distributed by Sol Guyana Inc.
Design, photography, advertising, you name it, we do it. At Mass Global Media, we offer high-quality, versatile media and marketing solutions that will help your business reach its goals. Contact us now if you want a website developed, graphic design, social media marketing, animation, and much more by emailing info@massglobalmedia.com or call 658-5636. Mass Global Media. Vision, execution, results.
Been through it all.
But as a people we have
Weathered every storm
And risen to every challenge.
Because it is the people of Guyana
that gives it its strength.
all the people,
regardless of race,
class, or religion.
we are one people, one strength.
And now is our time. A time to rise. Together, we rise.
Mobile Special and all other mobile lubricants are distributed by Sol Guyana Inc. Mobile Special and all other mobile lubricants are distributed by Sol Guyana Inc. Welcome back. Already facing private criminal charges filed by the PPP in relation to alleged fraud at the March elections, Chairperson of the People's National Congress Reform, Waldo Lawrence, will face new questions by the Guyana Police Force as part of its probe. The Guyana Police Force has indicated that it intends to put allegations to Lawrence during questioning as it continues its probe into the allegations of electoral fraud. Lawrence was initially invited to meet with the police on Saturday. She's now likely to meet with investigators tomorrow morning. She is the chairperson of the largest party in the APNU-AFC coalition. In a statement over the weekend, the coalition called the attempt to question Lawrence about electoral fraud harassment. The coalition said it is becoming clear that there may be a plan by the police to detain Mrs. Lawrence, as others have been detained previously. The coalition also believes the latest action by the police is part of a plan to incite its supporters and cause public mischief. It has issued a warning to the PP civic government that it could face retaliatory measures if it does not desist from what it called its actions to intimidate senior party officials and supporters. Let's tell you now that the governments of Guyana and Suriname are moving full steam ahead with plans to bridge the Quarantine River between the two neighboring states. On Saturday, Guyana's Minister of Public Works, Juan Egil, and Suriname's Minister of Public Works planted the flags of Guyana and Suriname at the demarcation for the bridge in Berbice and the cross in Suriname. The 3 points of demarcation identified were Molson Creek, Longs Island in the Quarantine River, and South Drain in Suriname. Public Works Minister Juan Egil said the bridging of the Quarantine River between Guyana and Suriname is an initiative that both countries are eager to execute as they share mutual interest.
This is a promoting of the friendship and the level of cooperation between countries. Who said neighbors must only fight? Neighbors can do things together in collaboration and cooperation. And I think the goodwill that exists right now will promote this. We walk the bushes so that the rest of the people can drive on the bridge.
And Suriname's Minister of Public Works, Dr. Nur Muhammad, noted that the meeting was a very important one with a Guyanese official. He said the two ministers have decided on serious matters for the enhancement and development of both nations as they look forward to building the bridge.
From my side, from the side of Suriname, but also I got some indications that we are very serious this time. We know that there were so many maps and documents with many signs of different ministers, but the time is now here. We have a new government in Guyana, we have a new government in Suriname. We know the governments also, we have a good friendship, so we will make sure that what was promised many years ago, the bridge over the Quarantine River, that will come very soon, because this is important not for me or for the minister, but for the community, for the people that should develop Suriname. So
the Public Works Ministry believes that the bridge as envisaged will promote the safe movement of people and products, and it is also hoped that Longs Island will be a place of economic activity, possibly a free zone with hotels, recreational parks, entertainment spots, and lots of tourist attraction. The Ministry of Health is moving to ensure regional hospitals are properly equipped to deal with severe cases of the coronavirus. The number of coronavirus cases in the country continues to climb. As of midnight last night, there were 52 new cases, taking the total number of active cases to 1,010. The country's death toll remains at 104. The Ministry of Health today received 20 ventilators from the Pan American Health Organization to support Guyana's fight against COVID-19. Ventilators are used for critical COVID-19 patients when they develop breathing problems. Health Minister Dr. Frank Anthony says some of the ventilators will be used at the Infectious Diseases Hospital, while others will be distributed to other parts of the country and the Georgetown Hospital.
Our intention is to have some capacity at the regional hospitals as well as the Georgetown Public Hospital. In addition to that, over the last 2 or 3 days, we have been working to get the ICU at the Ocean View facility up and running. So some of this equipment would also go to the Ocean View facility.
The Pan American Health Organization has been fully supportive of Guyana's COVID-19 fight since the first case was detected back in March. Even before that case, PAHO was instrumental in training lab technicians to test for the virus locally. Well, let's tell you now that the Ministry of Tourism, Industry and Commerce this afternoon admitted that it called in the police on its former permanent secretary, now its chief administrative officer, Karen van Slijtman Corbin, this morning. In a statement, the ministry stated that Mrs. Van Slytman-Corbin has been reassigned to her new position and will now work out of the Sophia Exhibition Complex. The ministry claims that this morning she turned up at the ministry's main office on South Road and indicated to the minister that she would not be accepting the appointment and reassignment. According to a statement from the ministry, it took that statement to mean that she would not leave the building, and therefore the ministry called in the police to escort her from the premises. But in an interview with reporters, Mrs. Van Slytman-Corbin said she was told of her reassignment on Friday and visited her old office this morning to clear it of her personal effects. She said the locks to the office were changed and her attempts to see the minister were not allowed. She said that she could not understand why the police was contacted, since there was no bad behavior on her part.
But I don't know why, because I was not behaving in any way hostile or threatening or, any manner that would warrant police to have to come to get me out of the building. But I understand that was so. I don't know.
In a letter dated October 8, the former permanent secretary was informed of her new position and her new office. Additionally, she was told that her salary and benefits will remain the same. The government last week announced a number of new permanent secretaries for 8 government ministries. While some permanent secretaries have been reassigned, others being replaced were not told of any new role. The permanent secretary at the Ministry of Local Government has been sent on leave and is likely to remain on leave until his contract ends. The appointments were all made by the Office of the President and did not go through the Public Service Commission. 2 persons lost their lives in 2 separate motorcycle accidents on Sunday in 2 different parts of the country. In the Region 6 area, a 26-year-old woman from Belvedere Village Quarantine died on Sunday morning. Her name was given as Radha Shivcharan. She was the pillion rider on a motorcycle when the rider, Kenny Tikadhari, lost control and slammed into the steel rail at the side of the road along the Sewell Public Road in Berbice. The woman died on the spot while the rider has been hospitalized with various injuries. He is in a stable condition according to the police. And on Sunday evening along the east bank of the Marara, a well-known speed biker lost his life when his motorcycle crashed onto the roadway as he lost control. Dead is 40-year-old Marlon Fitkow, known as Sonny, of Delft Street, Camberville. The accident occurred at around 5:45 Sunday evening in the vicinity of the Marara Distillers Limited. Fitkow was part of a crew of bikers heading to the city when he lost control of the bike while speeding and fell onto the roadway. According to the police, he was first taken to the Mercy Hospital but later transferred to the Georgetown Hospital because of the seriousness of his injuries. He was admitted in the emergency unit with a punctured lungs and other injuries, according to the police. He passed away while receiving treatment last evening. Many of his family and friends have expressed their shock on social media at his passing. The death toll from road accidents in the country for this year is currently more than 50% higher than last year. Speeding and drunk driving appear to be the main causes of road accidents across Guyana. A Guyanese man who was held at New York's JFK airport with more than 4 pounds of cocaine in his suitcase back in 2018 has filed a multi-million-dollar lawsuit against Caribbean Airlines after investigators in the U.S. concluded that the cocaine was placed in his bag after he checked it in. 50-year-old Simeon Wilson traveled from Guyana to New York in October 2018 and was held and charged following the discovery of the cocaine at the JFK airport just after his arrival. The man, who had always maintained his innocence, had all the charges dropped against him 10 weeks later. Court documents reveal that the charges were dropped after the U.S. investigators concluded that his bag was tampered with while in the custody of the airline. Wilson said when he arrived at JFK, he did not even realize that there was a necktie attached to his suitcase that was not there when he checked it in. He only saw that when he was pulled over by U.S. Customs. He described the situation as a nightmare and said he had never had any dealings with cocaine and has never even seen it in real life. He explained that he works as a janitor and was in Guyana to celebrate his father's birthday. The vacation went well, but all of that turned scary following his arrest at JFK. He now wants Caribbean Airlines to pay him for the ordeal and its lapse of security that allowed the illegal item to be placed in his bag. He told the New York Post that although the charges against him were dropped, he is still forced to face questions at U.S. airports as his name remains flagged in their system. He's hoping that that problem could also be fixed soon. A 23-year-old miner who was arrested for the rape and murder of a Venezuelan woman at a mining camp in Region 7 is facing an additional murder charge for the death of another woman back in May. The accused, Joshua Connell, appeared before Magistrate Krista Lambert at a magistrate's court in Bartica today and was not required to enter a plea to the indictable murder charges. The first charge stated that on the 6th of October at Big Hope Back Dam, he raped and murdered Venezuelan national Dimas Fermin. The woman, who worked as a chef in one of the mining camps, died by manual strangulation. Her body was found dumped in a mining pit. The court was also told that back in May of this year, at 3 miles Karoo Back Dam, the same accused strangled another woman to death and also dumped her body in a mining pit. That woman was identified as Rosella Smith. The accused has been remanded to jail under 2 murder charges and will make his next court appearance next week. He was arrested by investigators, and according to the police, he admitted to both murders while being questioned. The first woman was reportedly murdered as he raped her, while the second woman was murdered during an argument over missing gold. Across the region is coming up next. Mobil Delvac and all other mobile lubricants are distributed by Salt Guyana Inc. Mobil Delvac and all other mobile lubricants are distributed by Salt Guyana Inc.
We all know a strong educational foundation is a key to successful learning. Global Technology combines award-winning curriculum with innovative technology and teacher support to help students reach their potential. Our online platform creates an engaging learning experience. Using any device, you can be a part of amazing class discussions, collaborate with others, and have access to virtual learning software. With our multiple payment methods, you will never have to leave home. Find out how Global Technology can allow you to learn anything, anywhere, at any time.
Been through it all.
But as a people, we have
weathered every storm
and risen to every challenge.
Because it is the people of Guyana
that gives it its strength.
all the people,
Regardless of race,
class, or religion.
we are one people, one strength.
And now is our time. A time to rise. Together, we rise.
Mobil Delvac and all other mobile lubricants are distributed by Salt Guyana Inc. Mobil Delvac and all other mobile lubricants are distributed by Salt Guyana Inc. Across the region right now, the 15-member CARICOM grouping says it deplores the ongoing unilateral, arbitrary, and non-transparent blacklisting strategy employed by the European Union to Caribbean countries. In a statement, CARICOM said the most recent inclusion of CARICOM states in the blacklist of alleged non-cooperative tax jurisdictions and jurisdictions identified as being deficient in the area of anti-money laundering and countering the financing of terrorism underscores the EU's unwillingness to take into account the substantial progress made by CARICOM member states at compliance with global standards. CARICOM said the unquestioned use of ratings from other international bodies as a determining factor in the decision by the EU negates the spirit of partnership between CARICOM and the EU. Barbados, the Bahamas, and Trinidad and Tobago have been included in the latest EU list of 22 countries that have currently been identified as high-risk third countries for money laundering and terrorist financing. The list was released on October 1. In neighboring Brazil, the number of people to have died from COVID-19 in the country has passed 150,000, the country's health ministry has reported. Brazil has the second highest coronavirus death toll in the world after the US, and the third highest number of cases after the US and India. The country also passed 5 million total infections earlier last week. President Jair Bolsonaro has been accused of downplaying the risk of the virus throughout the pandemic, ignoring expert advice on restrictive measures. Brazil has by far the highest number of deaths in South America, and the state of Sao Paulo has been hit the worst. And finally tonight, international news. Bangladesh is set to introduce a death penalty for rape cases, following days of protests about the country's high level of sexual violence against women. Law Minister Inisul Haq told the BBC that the president would issue an ordinance on Tuesday making it law. There was widespread outrage in Bangladesh last week after footage of a brutal gang assault on a 37-year-old woman went viral on social media. At least 1,000 rapes have been reported in Bangladesh this year alone, according to activists. But many cases go unreported because women fear they will be stigmatized, according to human rights advocates, and in cases that are reported, conviction rates are extremely low. And that's your News Source Evening Bulletin for tonight. I'm Gordon Mosley reporting.